My name's John Farrelly. I'm the new superintendent in Dare County Schools. I'm originally from upstate New York. Started out teaching, did that for 6 or 7 years, and then I decided to dive into administration. I was a private school principal in Ithaca, New York. And then I decided that I wanted to get away from 350 inches of snow a year and moved to North Carolina. And I was very fortunate to work in Allegheny County Schools in the mountains of North Carolina and was there for 8 years. In 2007, I became the assistant superintendent for human resources and high school curriculum. Around the same time, I met my wife, Rena. Rena is from the mountains of North Carolina, and she was a human resources administrator next door at Ashe County Schools. And that's how we met. And we got married around the same time in 2009 when I was named superintendent in Washington County Schools. So we moved to northeastern North Carolina, and I really latched on to the challenges of being a superintendent in northeastern North Carolina. Worked for 3 years in Washington County, and we had some of the lowest performing schools in the state, and we had significant turnaround. Plymouth High School was one of the lowest performing high schools in the last 30 years, and we went from 30 to 70% overall proficiency, and felt like we made some immediate impact. After 3 years of serving as superintendent there, I became a superintendent in Edgecombe County. Again, a district that had a high poverty rate, history of low performance schools, and we made significant change. And I'm very proud over a 5-year span of a lot of the work that we did. It's really important for me as a leader to get out into the community and get a sense of the needs of our community and our schools and what the expectations are. You know, when you come in new, I think it's really wise to step back and do a lot of assessing and a lot of observation and a lot of listening. Great leaders are flexible and they adapt. And so part of the work has to be, it's almost like starting over, even though I feel like I've been very successful in 3 districts I've worked in. But that's healthy. Sometimes you got to go slow to go fast. And you know, there's been a high rate of success with almost every metric there is in education, from the graduation rate to a low teacher turnover rate, high rates of success. And I expect it to continue. We need to be problem solvers. And what's it going to take to go from very good to great? My vision is that we want to have a shared vision. I think there needs to be a collective conversation in the community about what we want for our kids. And certainly we want all children to be academic scholars. We want them to be college and career ready, but we also want them to be great citizens. And I think that sometimes gets lost in the world of education with all the accountability that's come down in the last 20 years in looking at metrics. And metrics are important, but we also want kids to be great citizens. And we want them to be problem solvers and communicators. It's what the business community expects out of children. You know, my short and long-term goal is we want to be the best, the highest performing school system in the state. I mean, period. It's really important for me to connect with parents, to connect with the business community, county commissioners, all our elected officials, because we need to be advocates. One of my primary roles is to be an advocate for the school system. So there's a heavy investment on my end in reaching out and being involved. And that pays forward. And one of the things that is important is that the community sees my investment. And it's just not, this isn't a job, this is my life.
We are interested in how sea turtles are using the Gulf Stream environment. And so we tagged 5 juvenile sea turtles that were collected from North Carolina beaches down south and were raised at the Pine Knoll Shores Aquarium until they were the size that we could attach a solar satellite tag to them and release them in the Gulf Stream amongst sargassum.
This is filling in one of the major data gaps in sea turtle life history. These guys are incredibly long-lived, and we don't know much about that early time frame that they spend offshore, so we don't know where they go, how they interact with their environment, and so not knowing that makes it more difficult to protect them.
A lot of the technologies that were present until recently were too large to be able to tag smaller turtles. And so we're really interested in how those turtles are using the Gulf Stream, and the North Carolina Renewable Ocean Energy Program is interested in it because if we are to harness Gulf Stream-based energy, we need to do so responsibly, and that means making sure that we protect species that could be at risk of interaction with those turbines, including juvenile sea turtles.
It's important because sea turtles are protected under the Endangered Species Act, but they interact with a lot of fisheries. And when you have turtles interacting with human activities, what'll happen is those human activities may be restricted. So the more information that we have, the better targeted our management can be. So we're not just blanket protecting areas or habitat. We can home in on where they're actually going, where they're actually using the habitat, and perhaps release restriction elsewhere. Every time the turtle is at the sea surface, the tag will transmit to overhead satellites. The tags themselves, because they require recharging, they'll be transmitting for about 10 hours, and then they shut down for 2 days to recharge. But during that 10-hour active period, they're sending all sorts of signals to overhead satellites that then will just send them to somebody's email and computer.
So these solar tags are temporary tags. We affix them to the back of the sea turtle with a suite of different adhesives, but they are meant to fall off eventually. Sea turtle shells grow as the sea turtle's soft tissues grow, so anything that would be permanently affixed could cause harm to the sea turtle. And so these tags will fall off over time, sometime between immediately after they're put on to 300 days from when they're put on. We're hoping for about 30 days. The public can track these sea turtles by going to seaturtle.org. We did have 5 tags that were transmitting at one time, and you can see the tracks of the tags that are still transmitting now. Projects like this are important because not only is it providing information for our program, for the North Carolina Renewable Ocean Energy Program, and maybe supporting the development of Gulf Stream-based energy, but it's also just providing us information about an organism that is really interesting to the general public and is also protected. And so the more that we know about these animals, the more that we can make decisions to help protect them.
I'm Kathryn Osgood. I'm head of the Professional Craft Jewelry Program at COA, and the jewelry program here offers students a variety of opportunities. The jewelry program will teach you jewelry construction, metalsmithing, design and marketing skills that you need to develop your own unique style, create one-of-a-kind and production pieces, and to build a business from your artistic talent. I am a jeweler and an enamelist, and I got my master's in jewelry design from East Carolina University. I started the jewelry program here at College of the Albemarle. We offer a variety of jewelry classes, so students start out with basic metalsmithing skills, and then we move into other techniques like casting, enameling. Besides making jewelry, they learn how to make vessels.
This is an incredibly well-equipped jewelry studio, and the teacher is well respected in this community. She's internationally known, and she offers quite a bit to her students and the freedom that they need to kind of do well in their chosen craft and explore every aspect of their creativity.
Each student has a bench set up with all the hand tools that they need, and then we also have a soldering area so that you can learn how to solder. We have a kiln and casting room. We have a hammering area where we have stakes and anvils and all kinds of forming equipment. So we have pretty much everything that you need.
I took one of Kathryn's classes and fell in love with her. She's the most wonderful person, and along the way I fell in love with making jewelry. I just got my basic jewelry certificate. I would absolutely encourage anybody and everybody to take these classes. It's a very open environment.
We have a very diverse student population. We have people right out of high school to people embarking on a second career. Our students have a variety of goals. A lot of them become entrepreneurs. They open up their own jewelry businesses. They sell to galleries. They sell online. Some of them do bench work for other jewelers, work in jewelry stores or galleries.
What we have with this program at COA is a very rich tradition of craft. We have an outstanding teacher, a teacher who believes in the capabilities of her students and what we can do. There's like nothing you can't do.